The worst najasa is the najasa of shirk and kufr. In this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the word, this is the form that is used in the ayah is a little different than what we normally use. We use the word najis with the kasra on jeen, najis. But the word says najas. According to the Arabic language, there is a difference between najis and najas. Najas is something that we will call it something impure, unclean. But when the word najas with the fatha is used, it simply means something that is the source of all the uncleanliness. It's so bad that it could spoil everything that's around it. Although we see the normal najasa, that we call it najis, normal najasa, they spoil a lot of other things. But it's still, after all, a point come where if you add too much of the other thing, if you add too much of good water, then the person may not be able to see it. You throw so much najasa into the ocean, no one sees it. It disappears. But the najasa of shirk and kufr is such, no matter how many a'mal a person would do with that najasa of shirk and kufr, still the person is najas. Unless he will take that thing out, he will cut the root of it out and he throws it out. Otherwise, anything that will mix with this najas will become bad. No matter how much good you add to it, a person who's doing shirk, he doesn't do anything else in his life that is bad, that is considered to be bad from the worldly point of view. Very humble, very nice, very obedient to parents, to children, to everyone. You haven't seen in morality a person better than him, more helpful than anyone else in the world. He gives up everything he has. And he does everything and anything. He may even do all the ibadah like believers do. He fasts, he prays, everything. It's only he's doing shirk. With shirk, all of these things, look how much good water he's adding there. But nothing is going to happen. وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَعْمَالُهُمْ كَسَرَابٍ. Their deeds, the good deeds of the disbelievers are just like a mirage. It looks like there is water there, you get there, there is nothing. This is najas. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He created Jannah and Jahannam, Jahannam is not created for the people of Iman. Is not created for the people of Iman. It's created for those who have this najasa of shirk on them. And there are many ayahs in Quran al-Kareem where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He created Jahannam specifically for the disbelievers. By looking at those ayahs, sometimes even people get a question that Jahannam is only for disbelievers. That is true, yes. It's not for believers. But when a believer will take the najasa of the shirk and kufr and put it on himself, then of course he will have to go to the same place where that kafir is going. That kafir, because he's najas, he will never be able to clean himself and he would never get clean, therefore he will remain forever. But the other person who became najas by that najas, now because he has to go there, and after some time he will be clean because he is najas, he is not najas. But since he is najas, he has to go where that najas, the place of the najasa is. That is the real place of the najasa, Jahannam. Jannah is place of tahara, of purification. That's it. Only pure things will enter there. But if a person will take, as I said, najas is something that will spoil things around him. Now when a person is taking that najasa from there and bringing few things of that najasa into his life, This is all he's bringing, that najasa. Of that najas. It was of the najas that belonged to that najas. But he's making other things najas around him. وَلَا تَرْكَنُوا إِلَى الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا فَتَمَسَّكُمُ النَّارِ. Do not lean. Look at the words. Do not lean towards the disbelievers, towards those who are doing wrong to themselves. إِنَّ الشِّرْكَ لَظُلْمٌ عَظِيمٌ. Verse ظُلْمُ الشِّرْكِ. Do not lean towards those who are doing wrong to themselves, who are doing zulm on themselves. If you lean towards them, what will happen? فَتَمَسَّكُمُ النَّارِ. The hellfire will touch you. If you lean, it will touch. Imagine if the person is not only leaning, now is just being over there, he goes and stays over there. What will happen? And if a person become that one of those people, God forbid. So just by leaning toward the zalimeen, the Jahannam will touch. Mentally the person leans toward the zalimeen. Yeah, that zulm looks good. The way of the zalim looks so good. It looks to me that zalim is very successful, so zulm is beneficial. He's doing zulm to himself by taking riba, by taking interest haram, by doing all the haram things. The other person looks at him, and look, there is benefit in that zulm. He have done wrong to himself. And we know that this is doing wrong to ourselves by disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are all najasat. So the first thing is najasa, that a person has to purify himself against it. The second thing that we have to deal with and purify ourselves from are zulumat, the darknesses. Anything out of this deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a darkness. Ma'asi, they bring darkness into the person's life. Disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, each and every sin brings darkness into the life of the person. We don't normally feel it simply because we're so much used to it, but people who do ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and for some time, a person did ibadah for some time, refraining from sins. When this person commits a sin, he feels that I have committed the sin. I did very bad. I wasn't supposed to do this. He feels now the real ruh of the ibadah is gone. He wants to get it back. But a person who is always there, who doesn't know what the ruh of the ibadah is, he never feels it. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahmatullahi alayhi son says once someone knocked at the door. And my father asked me to open the door. I opened the door. There was a woman standing there. She said, I'd like to talk to your father. I asked him some questions. So the woman comes in and she asked a few questions. One, she says, I do knitting. And as I'm sitting on the roof of my house, on the roof, and having a small lamp, and I'm sewing the clothes and doing the work, and I'm doing the knitting. At that time, sometimes I do it during the daytime, sometimes I do it during the nighttime. When I sell these clothes, do I have to mention to the person that this was done, I saw this during the daytime and I saw this during the nighttime, or I don't have to mention it? Because the light at the nighttime is dim and the daylight is much lighter, so I can see much better during the daytime. Do I have to mention the difference when I'm selling it? So he said, yes. you should mention the difference.